Kia ora koutou katoa and welcome along to another episode of Beyond the Hustle. In today's episode, I catch up with Komihana Mitchell, who, along with his wife Tolz, is the founder and owner of +64 Fitness, a CrossFit gym based right here in Aotearoa, but delivering products and services all over the globe. And we had an awesome conversation about all sorts of things, from parenting to business, to mindset, to failure. And he gave me some really interesting insights on what it looks like to be a good tāne, a good man. And so if that's the kind of thing that is interesting to you, then hang around and let's get into it. Kia ora. Tuatahira, Komihana, thank you so much, bro, for your time. Really appreciate it. I know you're a busy man. But before we kick into it and we learn all about your different kaupapa, +64 Fitness, and all of your other various kaupapa, I'm really keen to understand, first and foremost, what's the mission that you're on at the moment, bro? What are you up to? What's inspiring you to get out of bed and get after it at the moment?
My current mission, it's a good question. It's changed like year after year. As I've grown, as I've matured, developed a family and things like that, I would say this current chapter that I'm in is more about probably contentment. In my earlier days, especially with business and things like that, it was all about growth. How wide can I spread and reach? And now it's about balance, for sure. Like having 3 young tamariki is definitely the driving force behind that, and making sure that I'm home and available and present, but also still delivering a really good service on my job and my role within that. But also, I mean, it is my business and I love it. So there's a passion there too. So just my mission right now, bro, is to fill less buckets and just with far more quality.
It's good. I like that. Yeah. Interesting what you say about it's one thing to be home on time, but to be present, because often you can work for massive long periods of time, as you know, as a business owner. You get home, physically you're there, but mentally you're just like, you're drained or your mind is elsewhere. I like that you're trying to be present, be focused while you're at home, being really intentional about what it is that you're doing. Yeah. So you're whānau, man, dad. Are you're married? No.
No.
Might as well be in a relationship.
Yeah, bro.
And you got 3 tamariki.
Yeah.
How are you finding dad life?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, like, I think everyone's going to give you that same answer.
Yeah. What's the truth though? Because honestly, like I've found it quite hard at times.
At times, not daily.
Daily, bro.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's hard. And you said you got 3. I've got 3 as well. They're all different. I have to be different with each and every one of them. That's a challenge in and of itself. But how have you found being a dad?
Yeah, well, I'll probably like start with, I know that you have 3 and I have 3. But even the dynamic of that's different because your eldest, youngest is a big age gap, has a big age gap.
Yep.
You probably regained your sleep and normality again, and then we're like, should we run this back? And then did that, but then now you've also got 2 kids that probably can help out as well.
Yep.
Although you don't want to burden them with like, bro, grab the nappy, bro, do this, bro, do that. Like, it is a part of the family unit, of course.
100%.
For me and us, we have 3. Our eldest is currently 3.
Okay.
So they all need help for everything, for getting their dinners ready, getting to the table, getting dressed, no matter what it is, they all still need help getting buckled into the waka, bro. And
it's a massive unlock when they can buckle themselves in. It's like life gets so much easier. Just those little things, but when they can buckle themselves in, you're like, oh, I didn't realize how much time that used to take up.
Yeah, bro. Like, and that's it. It's just little pockets of 5 minutes here. Yeah, would you give you 2 hours back in the day type thing? So I think for me, just like learning to not be frustrated at the time that goes by that you didn't really account for.
Yep.
And I say that people like, there will be in our positions of being in business and time priority and time poor as well. And so you're kind of clock watching all the time.
Yep.
That's been a big challenge for me. But I remember trying to kind of pick brains of anyone who was either parents or grandparents, and like, just what were those moments? What were the things you wish you would have done back when you started having kids and things like that? I think the common answers were either be more present, work less, be more available, enjoy those moments, and a typical answer was like, I can't explain what being a parent is, but it's just the best feeling. And I was very fortunate enough for my first boy to be born, to kind of show me what I actually enjoyed about my job and help me actually articulate what I figured out that I loved about parenting. And this is probably what I would imagine most people will go through. And that was at one point in time in our job, in my business, I had so many great coaches, and it forced me off the floor. And I was just in the office now, just admin, far read, prepare coaches, upskill, all those types of things. And it got to a point where I was detached from the actual being in the moment with the community, on the floor training, coaching, seeing those moments happen. And when I say moments, like, my role as a coach is to help guide someone to a point and an understanding, and then see them achieve those things. And so, like, let's say you're trying to do a clean and jerk and you just can't coordinate it. And then we'll say, hey, do this, do this, do this. And then you see one of those things happen, do this, do this, do this, make this change. And then it happens, clicks. You get excited, new PR, light bulb goes off, and we share that moment. And I lost that because I was now in the office.
Working on the business.
Yes. And I was like, frick, man, I don't know if I enjoy this anymore. Well, like, what? I couldn't figure out what it was that I was missing. And so you have your baby, bro. And to me, the way I see it, it's like a blank canvas. And it's cute when they burp and they fart and they poo, and they're like, oh, you're doing the things that a human does. Like, this is cool and exciting. And then they all of a sudden have facial recognition and recognize that it's you. And then they see their hands. And then after a period of time, they realize that their hands are their hands. And for me, those are all the paintbrush strokes just going onto the canvas of life, really. And it was their light bulb going off. And you see the crawl, the roll, the walk, the talk, the speech. And I don't think that ever stops. No. Not until you're gone, right? Like, you can still be proud of your kids for achieving something at 30 years old in their lives, 40 years old, whatever it is. Cool. And so that kind of, to me, showed me that I was missing the light bulb moment. Yeah. And so it forced me back to the floor. I was like, nah, I'm out of the office. I'm half an hour.
That's awesome, though. That's what it led to. So you realize, because it so easily happens that when you go from being really, really small and you're starting out in your business, you're doing everything, and you often start with the thing that you're really, really good at. And for you, that's on the floor coaching. But over time, as things grow, as aspirations grow, you find yourself, like you said, in the back office working on the business rather than working in the business. And before you know it, you've not lost your mojo, but something's missing. So it's awesome that having tamariki enabled you to connect those dots up and be like, oh, that's what's missing. I need to get back to what I started out doing, which is what I love. That's cool.
Yeah, bro. Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the business. +64 Fitness. What is it for someone who doesn't know? Explain it to me like I'm a 10-year-old.
+64 Fitness, group classes. We are a CrossFit affiliate. Brand, our name is +64 Fitness. I think, like, at the time of our inception, it was still intimidating, CrossFit.
Right.
And it wasn't well known, and there was still a lot of skepticism on what it was and the safety, and people would ridicule the way people would move and things like that. So we called it fitness because it was more inclusive, more broad. People could associate with fitness. And but yeah, it's a group fitness, bro. We focus on a lot of weightlifting, cardio, gymnastics, odd object stuff, just learning how to move your body through functional movements. Generally, no two workouts are the same, but there's definitely structured programming to make sure that you're still getting stronger, you're getting faster, you're getting more mobile, and just to live a healthier life. It's all encompassing, really, and it's for everybody.
I know that you're massive on community, but how diverse is your community? You got tamariki, or what's the youngest and the oldest? And tell me about that.
So our youngest will be 12, 13.
Cool.
In amongst the adults.
Yeah.
And then at times we run our kids sessions, which are much younger than that, but then they're separated from that. So, because right now, some people will be blown away at some of the things 12-year-olds can do. Females clean and jerking 80 plus kilos, bar muscle ups, handstand walking, running just as fast as anybody. And so you kind of, at times, you got to disassociate the age with the ability.
Yep.
but then you also have to connect the maturity, and not just of the teenager, but also
the group around them.
Yeah, like how are they acting? Like are they all mid-20s talking about going to the rave on Saturday night with nose beers or whatever, you know? Like I don't want that to be connected together. So yeah, there's a lot of kind of people management.
Yep.
At least in your thought process of how to connect it.
Yeah, we have some other stuff, even just with kaimahi, because we've got a lot of young dishies that will come into the business, and for them it's their first job, and being really conscious of some of the kōrero that's going on out the back, making sure that it is age appropriate. You know, hey, look, we've got a 13-year-old here. We don't talk about that, you know. It's really important to keep that stuff in mind, eh? Awesome. So I know +64 has been around for a while, almost 10 years, I think. Yeah, so I'm sure you've definitely experienced COVID and probably some other challenges along the way. What are some of the challenges that you've had to overcome in building this business?
The single biggest challenge would also be, my piece of advice is this: confidence. Confidence, you know, and I don't know if you remember back to when you first started your business, but bro, even just like going through the registration process, you know, like
it can be intimidating. Eh?
It's intimidating, but it's also like, it's exciting. It's exciting with nerves at the same time. And if you've never opened a business, like you probably don't understand how easy it actually is.
Yeah.
But you can open it up in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, pay the, $150 or whatever.
Set up the
company set up, wait for the pending approval of the business name, and boom, where you go. But it was like just gaining traction on those moments for me, because it was such a far step out of the comfort zone. Like, I didn't come from a background of people who were involved in business. You know, I didn't have leaders in their space.
So you had to figure it out all along the way, or did you have some mentors help you? Or
yeah, well, I won't say. Actually, I'll just start with, because this is probably my answer for many questions. Is I'm so grateful for my wife, Tolz, who without her, bro, I wouldn't have had that confidence, and progressive confidence from then till now, and still to this day. Someone who doesn't look at a challenge like it's not achievable or overcomable. I don't even know if that's a word, but
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So what, you had all this ability. She saw the potential. You needed her to instill something in you to say, get after it. Like, I believe in you.
Yeah, but also, even, you know, another layer to that, it wasn't just like, bro, you've got the ability, like, go get after it. She was like, nah, we've got the ability.
Yeah,
I'll show you the way. Cool. I'll walk the path. Don't stress. Like, and that kind of comes back to in 2012, I want to say, we were working, coaching CrossFit, and playing sports, and then she also enrolled us into business school through the whānau in the evenings, bro. She was the one that was like, you want to do this? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Like, let's go learn at school. Let's build out our business plan. Let's do it properly. Let's gain a certificate, whatever. So she had the courage for that.
Yeah.
Whereas if she didn't, like, to say, hey, we're signing, because we might have been like 20, 21. And if that never happened, you know, looking back, did I have the talent for it? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But did I have the kahunas for it? Bro, I don't know. You know, like, I come from a typical, I would say, Polynesian background, you know, like you're more comfortable with tension than you are in a room signing a legal document. And so that was more scary for me, you know, just putting my name to paper and probably committing to something for such a long period of time.
Out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, like in terms of like having to turn up and learn, and then taking on all responsibilities. Like, I think that our culture hasn't had a lot of that, like, guidance in those spaces, you know?
Yep.
And so, again, to circle back, she was my guide dog, essentially.
Yep.
And she hadn't even walked the line, but she knew that she could. And so she brought me along with her.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's, you and Tolz, seeing what you guys, from a distance, watching what you two have built, not only just your business, but your whānau. I can relate in a lot of ways, because it's a similar journey by the looks of it to what Jess and I have gone. How have you found building a business together? The two of you managing whānau, tamariki, trying to grow, aspirations, the tension, all of that stuff, relationship. How have you found that process with the two of you?
Oh, roller coaster. Yeah, sure. For sure. Juggling what the priorities are. Making sure both have felt like they're heard. And that their ideas are, bro, even if it's not a good idea in your opinion, like don't just dismiss it.
Yeah.
You know, we let's open it up. But yeah, just that growth in that space of like shared contribution.
Yeah.
And, you know, to talk to a point we talked about just earlier, just then defining the roles.
So what are your roles at the moment? How do you guys break all of that mahi up and get it all done?
Yeah, well, she, one, takes on the household, which is a bigger job than my job.
Well, it's 24 hours,
It's
for a
24
start.
hours, bro. And it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable. So, you know, she could be heading to bed at 11 p.m. with one child and then up at 11:05 with another who's up for 3 hours and then swap back, and boom, you guys your night gone. But on top of that, she still does all like the admin stuff, all the background noise, you know. Whereas for me, because our job's such a creative space, you know, like I have to, my core is like programming, building out all of the training. We've expanded to not just our gym, but it's global. So we have online training as well. So for me to sit there and think, and I like to just use a blank whiteboard, bro, but you just stare at a blank whiteboard and you're like, well, hey, this has to turn into something. Yeah. And you have to have foresight on what a session would look like. And you shouldn't just see people moving. It should be safety. It should be progressive for every single user. Like our philosophy with CrossFit is infinite scalability. So let's say like, oh, bro, today's workout is 3K run, 30 ring muscle ups, and then 30 back squats at 100. You're probably like, bro, I can't do that. Yeah, but then the level 2 option is a 2K run, 10 pull-ups, blah, blah, blah. And then the next option is, so everyone can fit into the box, and here's the key indicators, and we're trying to focus on this stimulus, and this stimulus is blah, 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 this energy system, and you'll be in this energy system if you are in this time slot, or this meterage, or this rep cadence, and trying to give as much of like that's my thought to my programming. And then it takes a lot, man. It takes a lot of just like design, you know, and because you're trying to also keep it stimulating,
like and interesting.
And if people just do the same thing over and over and over and over again, like it's not stimulating anymore. For me, like I like to see it like, all right, bro knows he's having chicken for dinner, but he don't know how it's getting served. Like tonight it might be mango chicken. Tomorrow it might be just roast chicken, and, you know, curry chicken, whatever. So essentially, you know, with my ideologies of it all, it's all the same thing, but it's just served up a different way with the same core intentions of, well, how can I get you stronger? Fitter, faster, more mobile, skillful, more mobile, happy.
And I know you talk about like, and all of the stuff, all of the content and stuff that I've seen you put out, it's more than just fitness. You know, you try and coach beyond just the exercise. What do you mean by that? Are you trying to develop holistically the human being? Tell me about that.
Oh, for sure. Like obviously the you know, the well-being concept in Māori, haura tapa whā. You got to look at all the pillars of your whare. And so we have to consider that, you know. I look at it from when someone steps into my door, it's make sure I greet them first with a handshake and a smile. And I already know that intimidation feeling, like, oh, this is a big scary place, especially for someone who's never done it before. So how can I go and break that ice immediately, pull them under my wing? Because who if they're not nervous for me, then who's going to be nervous? You're nobody to care about. And then how can I connect them to the group?
It's that whanaungatanga stuff, making them feel comfortable. Immediately part of the whānau.
And it's not even just that first person for their first time. It's everyone every day. You know, and then you watch it rub off onto them with each other. And so there's that connection there. Or even like my personal thoughts, I don't go out to town or socialize on a Saturday evening or whatever. And regardless of my current situation, it was never me for the past 10 years because my social cup is flat by the weekend.
I get it. I'm the same, bro.
It's rest time because your Monday morning is as electric as a Saturday night.
Mm.
And so by the time that comes, you know, like it's done. So you're looking after the social aspect for people. Obviously their physical well-being, and then with our style of training, the physical and mental connection is hand in hand.
Yep.
Like for me, I know that my mental health lies largely in my physical health, especially like I've not really been unhealthy my whole life. But when I get out of in worse shape than I had been in, it's like, oh, hang on, something's falling behind there. I don't feel good about it. Something, and you recognize I haven't been to the gym for a couple of days, or you know. So yeah, it's just that whole for the top of far, bro, and just connecting all the dots there.
We talk a lot these days about mental health. It's something that people talk a lot about. Do you think that part of unlocking good mental health is through physical fitness? Because I know that when I don't work out, I feel like shit, especially if I don't do it for 2 or 3 days in a row. And I did it for about a year, and I just saw my own mental health kind of decline. And it wasn't until I was like, okay, time to get back in shape. It's going to be a long journey. But immediately I saw I felt better. I was more energized. I was sharper. But you live in this space. You see it every day. So what are your experiences?
Man, I currently see two ends of the spectrum. So I definitely believe that physical exercise, you know, working on your physical health does a lot for your mental health. Does a lot. Like, and if you don't believe me, go do a workout for 10 minutes and then see
what happens.
See what happens. See what happens. But it can actually get to a point where you do it so much, or in a competitive round, that there's now a whole lot of pressure. And if I didn't perform today, this wasn't good for me. It's like, bro, you just did 2 hours of exercise and you walked out feeling like you were less of a person than you walked in with. Competitiveness, competition, especially like taking elite level athlete. Like, why is someone in the NBA got mental health issues?
Yeah, good question.
You know,
but you're literally in the top 0.001% of the world, and you feel shit about yourself.
Yep. You got all the money to access to everything. You got any phone number you need to ring. A lavish lifestyle, and I no doubt they still appreciate those things,
of course.
But why is the mental health not there? And it's because of the pressure, you know, and performance, and everything becomes focused on that. Like, I could do all of this great work, and if I don't perform well, then what is that worth? And like, my worth goes down. But then social media has made it a thing. Now any keyboard warrior can come in and, bro, sack the fella, he sucks, da 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 da. And you read that, oh damn, that's a me thing. And not only that, like the comparison there on social media. So you've got like self-imposed problems. Like, I see it all the time where like someone might get a PR, a personal record, like of a lift or something.
Yeah.
And you try and connect that celebration with them, and they're like, yeah,
could have been better.
Yeah. But blah, blah, blah did that. Oh, so your growth and your abilities is based off of what he or she does.
Yeah. We know it's wrong, but I can relate. It's human nature.
Human nature. And that's one thing that this industry has taught me so much. You know, I've come across thousands of people, and like essentially, like as the coach, you're so many more things than that. Or like at least you get the doorway opens up. They really let you see what's in on the back end mentally and things like that. And
so how do you try and break that? Because you've got I don't know if you call them clients or an athlete that you're coaching. You've seen the growth. They get to a PR. They do something that they've never done before. You're trying to celebrate for them, but they're too busy comparing themselves to someone else, and all they can see is, well, I wasn't as good as that person. How do you try and turn that moment around and let them see how amazing what they've just done is?
I don't know, bro. I kind of laugh at it because I look back to how I was brought up. I was brought up in like the shearing sheds and on farms and things like that, and the culture, bro, is just like you just hard mahi, No one cares. And my best mate's dad, he was the owner of a shearing company. Would have had like 100 contract like employees underneath him. So big mahi, bro. Yet he was still the first one to the yard, 5 o'clock in the morning, last one for leave, 7 at night type thing. Everyone puts in a hard day, him too. And he's just installing us, like, bro, sleep deprivation, not a thing. No one can. Just a real like typical hardworking man.
Hard man, eh?
And so there's like elements of that's instilled in me, but then also grown to the culture of 2025. Like, hey, like, let's actually, there's mental healthness is a thing. It's a sickness. It's has to be recognized. And even he said to me one time on the phone, he said, I don't know if I'm oversharing here, but he said, bro, you know what I think about mental health? I think everyone talks about it so much these days that they just start buying into it and believing it. It's a placebo effect. He's like, I think if they talked about it less, then it wouldn't quite be there as prominent as it is. And I see the truth in that. I don't believe it all the way, but I definitely see some truth in that. And so to kind of get back to the question,
no, you don't have to go back to it. I mean, so because it's so hard to strike a balance, eh? Because you're right. Yeah, I also there's a piece of me that also thinks no one cares. The mahi has just got to be done. No one cares. You can cry about it, you can whinge about it, you can post about it online, but at the end of the day, and maybe that's the business owner part of me. Like I've got to do the mahi. No one cares about what you think. Just do the mahi. But then at the same time, it's probably not healthy, so it's probably somewhere in between. Hey,
but you know, that's where my answer comes from. Is it's like striking the balance of hang on, bro. Like life ain't all that bad. Let that part go. Carry on. Or you're overthinking that that's not as big of a problem in your life as you think it is. But also then having that empathy to kind of, I guess, share with people. But it's just to not like gain this victimhood mentality. You know, like a lot of people think one bad day equals one bad life. Like, bro, go to bed.
Wake up tomorrow.
Have a sleep. Apply yourself. Put yourself in a position. Don't just compound these negative thoughts and effects. And
I sometimes think about like, what would my 85-year-old self think about this moment? Like when I'm 85 and I'm looking back on this moment,
you're gonna make it?
Wait, am I gonna make it 85?
Hell yeah.
I hope so. If I don't, nothing I can do about it. But you know, just trying to zoom out, and because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the moment, and when you start getting in your own head, you go, "Oh man, this is way worse than it is." Sometimes I try to disconnect and think, if I'm 90, looking back on this moment, is it really that bad? If it's not, don't let it ruin my day. Just carry on. It's easier said than done, of course. No, there's so much in there. Social media, because fitness is massive on social media. Can you recognize when you watch someone on social media, can you recognize whether they know what they're talking about versus you just saw something and you're trying to replicate it?
Yeah.
You must be able to see it a mile away.
For sure.
Because I'm out there trying to find fitness content like the next person, because I'm trying to get stronger, I'm trying to get healthier. What are some of the things that I should be looking out for?
Oh, there's levels to it, you know, like there's so many levels. And to be fair, level 1 is going to get 95% of the population better. Doesn't really matter. But when you get people really start like micro detailing certain things, like one single word that's wrong or misplaced in your whole structure of your either sentence or paragraph can change the whole meaning of everything you just said.
Really?
For example, bro, I just did an online educational piece a couple of days ago, and it was probably like 22 minutes. And then I remember ringing our media guy, and I was like, bro, I don't post that. I need to go back through it because I think I said this one word. And this is like the problem. So I create all my content, write all my thoughts down, like structure it all. And there's sometimes when I'm like delivering and I'm trying to like be just in the moment of delivering, but then trying to read what you've structured as well, you gloss over both. So I'll break it down for what it was. It was like, I was talking about energy systems. One was the oxidative system, which is the oxygen system. And I wasn't sure if at one point I skimmed over and said, in this system, the fuel source comes from oxygen. And that's incorrect.
Okay.
The fuel source comes from fat.
Okay.
But I had talked and I've got this written paper down in front of it and it says fat burning, blah, 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 blah. But I said to him, I was like, bro, I wasn't sure if I said this, so don't post. And I only just watched it back late last night. And I was like, oh, it's,
Oh, you got it right?
yeah,
Oh, sweet.
yeah. But like, you know, just if I'm watching somebody, I can hear one word that was wrong.
Yeah.
Bro, do you know what you're talking about?
Yeah. It can it can jeopardize everything else.
Yeah.
Hey.
Credibility goes down.
Yep.
Even just like stylistically,
Mm.
how people put things together, you can see styles, and I can see levels within the styles, writings, and even just content creation for what people are teaching. And so, like, if I look back at my mahi from 10 years ago,
Yep,
to now, level changes, and then even like 5 years ago to now, yeah, still levels. But at the 5 years ago, I was still the best I could be.
Yep.
Who knows? Another 5 years, I'll probably do the same thing. At the start, I was probably like, I know what I know, and I want to convince people that I know what I know. And right now, bro, my whole philosophy's changed. I just know what I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I understand what I don't know, and I understand that there's still plenty of growth rather than trying to think that you know it all. But I also give myself a lot of credit that I speak this language fluently.
Yeah.
I understand it really, really well. But there's probably a couple more nooks and crannies to kind of venture. But also, you know, to look back on some of my mahi from 10 years ago, I look back and I'm like, oh, that's not all bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that
I was
bad.
pretty switched on back then.
Yeah. It's not as good as it is now, but it's not all bad either. So yeah, just
it's nice to be able to do that and give yourself credit where credit's due. But also your point around, you know, being aware enough to know that there's still stuff I don't know. There's still heaps of growth, but I'm pretty switched on. I know a lot as well, and I want to share it. What do you think is one of the biggest mistakes that people make that you've seen in the fitness industry? Someone like me who's trying to get in, trying to get fit, just be a stronger 35-year-old. What are some of the mistakes that people make, generally speaking?
A couple of mistakes is trying to do too much too soon. Not building sustainability behind it, overcomplicating it, or if your lifestyle isn't like super set up to accommodate for it, then all of a sudden you just dive 100% into that, and it's taking up 30% of your week. But all these other things are falling off, and you hadn't allocated those things. I mean, I see some people come and go. They have good 3-month spurts, 6-month spurts, and whatever. And like my whole philosophy is, you know, anybody can be good for 10 minutes, but I kind of expand that out to anybody can be good for 6 months. Anybody can be good for 3 years. Like, wait, let's see at the end of when it's all said and done, did you sustain it? At least for me, I say that it's like even a criminal can be good for 10 minutes and can have you believe that he's a good person, and then go do you dirty the next day. You know, so I don't get excited about somebody. Like, yeah, I'll appreciate somebody stepping out of the comfort zone and start making the start for sure.
It's just the start.
Right, show me 12 months. And you want me to buy into your journey? Show me 3 years. Because at this point, I've sacrificed so much to be invested in people's journeys who have either quit on themselves or quit on me or whatever. But now the sacrifices is my family and time with them and things like that, or even just mental space for them, and even myself. You know, I spend my 30 minutes on this person and it led to nothing for them. Like I don't need reciprocation or money out of that or whatever. But, you know, like sometimes you get invest in somebody's journey that you can't be invested more than them. You know, but like, you want me to be your coach, blah, 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 and guide you down the lane? Well, earn the right. It's not my responsibility just to walk in and somebody just walk into my gym, right, you are now my leader for all of my time. It's like, no, I'll give you the best of me during this moment, but if you really want me to engage, like I need to see long-term, day after day, you really putting it in for yourself so I can buy into it.
Discipline,
consistency, but even beyond that, like now also application.
What do you mean by that?
Turn up and apply yourself. Don't just turn up.
Yeah. Don't go through the motions.
Don't go through the motions. Don't just tick the box, but turn up and maximize it. Yeah, you can have those days where you can just turn up. Like you're not going to get every day a great day, but you know, a message that I send is you walk into the gym and like, let's just say this is the 1 hour that I'm here. And my training is analogize, there's all the chips on the poker table.
Yep.
I'm walking home with all the chips today.
Yep.
I'm not just going to go on and take a hand,
Mhm.
over my course of my hour. And I'm going to do that every day. And that's just being purposeful and applying yourself to what's there. And I think the more that you have at home or in other areas of your life to sacrifice that time, the more purposeful you are with that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. If you're leaving a lot at home to be here and you're sacrificing time with whānau and tamariki or business or whatever it is in your life, it makes that 1 hour at the gym so much more important. Like, I've got to put the effort in, otherwise why am I even here? I'm leaving all that stuff behind. Good way to look at it.
Oh, bro, that's like, I'm pretty lucky now that I've got a couple key driving forces of motivation, I would say, that when I'm in a deep, dark hole and I'm like, this sucks, I don't want to fucking do this or be here. So why, bro? Like, you do because you wrote it. You wanted to, what's on the other side of this as well. You know what you're going to gain from that. But one of the biggest things for me right now is like, don't disrespect Tolz time. Don't you come here and tell her like, yo, I'm going to go to the gym, blah, blah, blah. And why are we going to gym? I'm going to go there to get better.
Yeah.
Become a better person. And then there, I'm like, I've got negative energy. My feet are dragging, I'm kicking rocks. Like, nah, bro, leave that at the door.
Yeah.
Because you're disrespecting her time. Well, if you're going to act like that and not try and take anything away, just stay home. Just stay home and help out with the kids. Let her go.
Yeah.
Because she wants it, so.
It's such a good frame. It's a good way to look at it. Because it's easy. It's easy to feel sorry for yourself, eh? I had a shit day yesterday, I'll be honest. And I was sulking for about 2 hours. But looking back on it, that was unfair. I was disrespecting Jess's time because she was at home doing the mahi and I was just sitting there feeling sorry for myself because I had a shit day. It's not good enough.
No.
Yeah. And it's the same thing when you go to the gym. If you're gonna leave all of that behind and go and work on yourself. Be intentional. Effort,
bro. Just trying to hold a standard. If I'm going to get paid $1 million or $0, you're going to get the same amount of effort or standard or whatever mahi I'm to output, because that's me. And I know that whoever's at home is sacrificing for me to be out on the table. So I'm not going to disrespect that. I think we don't think of their loss.
Nah.
We think of, I'm losing time with them. It's like, nah, they're losing time with either you or themselves.
Yes.
And I value that.
Yeah.
So don't respect that. And that's been phenomenal, to be honest.
Awesome. Bro, what's got you excited at the moment? Because I know you guys at +64, you are competitive, you go to competitions, you prepare your athletes. You got anything exciting coming up?
The annual CrossFit Open, happens every year, bro. So that's 2 weeks. Probably the best time of year for our just in-house community to rallying behind each other. Cool. Goes over 3 weeks. You do your workout, you put it online, versus everyone else in the world who does it. Last year, the number was like 350,000 plus people involved in this competition.
So it's the same workout? Because I don't know. I'm a rookie. I don't know much about it. Can you tell me about it?
So every year, at the moment, they'll give you 3 workouts, right? Or at least 3 weeks of workouts. One might be a 2-part workout. So let's say you've got 10 minutes of this exercise.
Yep.
Finish that, and then 5 minutes to find a heavy lift.
Okay.
And you'll get 2 different scores, and they'll go on a worldwide leaderboard. And Anton gets 1,000th in this one and 200,000th in this one, and your place is whatever. Yeah. Compared to everyone else as well. So we, micro scale that down to just having also an in-house competition. When you sign up to our gym, you get put into a house group like at school. Cool. Yeah. So we got them off the Aotearoa.
Yeah.
Team Tangaroa, Sumatoinga,
and
Tāne Mahita.
Oh.
And each house has house captains, and then they rally their troops to do the open, wear your colors, da-da-da-da-da.
Awesome.
But every Friday night across those 3 weeks, one of those house groups are allocated to put on a potluck dinner for the whole gym.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So you obviously feed everyone once, but you get fed twice.
Yeah, nice.
Or 3 times essentially, because you're own, And yeah, bro, just little moments like that really connect the community. Always over a hatari,
Yeah.
And that's coming up in 2 weeks. So it's always a big pivotal moment for me. I really, really enjoy that. And that's also the ground base to then progress on to the CrossFit competition season. So if you do well, you go to Aussie, compete in this one. You do well there, you go to America, compete in the games. So it's always the start. But
And I know you had athletes go all the way
Mm.
in the past.
Yep.
Yeah. What are you most proud of at 6'4"? If you look back on some of those achievements, what are some of the ones that stand out the most?
Competition?
Well, it is anything, I suppose, in business, but yeah, competition.
Just to like single it out as competition, you would never forget your first one, eh?
Yeah.
Your first CrossFit game, that's always a pretty proud moment. And because like at that point, you had belief back here.
Yeah.
And it happened.
Yeah.
And for me, it was more like, fuck, I knew it.
Yeah.
I fucking knew it. I knew that
I had it.
we had it back then.
Yeah.
And so that's what it was. And then after that, bro, you got a blueprint.
Mm.
Oh, we know how to run it back. You hit the next person, bang, next person, bang, next person, bang.
And is that the goal always, every year for you?
Well, that's funny because it kind of like ties into where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And it was. And probably like I would say to add on to before, when anyone could be good for 10 minutes, is there's almost a theme of also like anyone can do it once.
Mm.
You got lucky. But you do it repeatedly, it's like, oh, bro, something's there.
Yep.
Something's there. So I've done it multiple times with different people and different stages of their careers and things like that, and got them to the holy grail of what we do. And for me, I fortified, I guess, the fulfillment in that space of like, did I really know what the path was? Now I'm so confident in it. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
It's just,
You proved it to yourself.
I proved it to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably more on like a personal note of comparing my own knowledge versus the other coaches' knowledges in the world, The one thing you'll never get to determine is to dictate the racehorse that you get.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got different lifestyles all over the world and different environments that they got brought up in, and, backgrounds and things like that, they kind of all amount to the final product. But you do with what you have, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you just make a miracle happen.
Yes.
So that to me right now, bro, like it isn't my biggest driving force. Like now is my tamariki kind of getting into the stages of talking, and one of them was well on his way, obviously, but it's kind of like just going back to, well, you strip away all of this, like who are we? It's just kind of like having that core identity and the foundation, and this is to be Māori, bro. So for me, right now, I'm just building out a pathway where I can give back to Māori and Pacifica, or anyone that's underprivileged, really. And so what I see is like in Māoridom, we have a real cool pillar of health and fitness, and we visualize our ancestors of the past, our tipuna, as warriors and all these godlike body types and figures, and like we look now, like, we're not quite there. So if like we still harp on about this as our value, why is it translating into today? And so one of my drivers right now is, well, like, look, I've actually gone out and learned great physical health, great physical fitness to the greatest level.
Yeah.
And
you've proven it.
And I'm proving it. Yeah. And so now how can I come back and say to, talking about the whenua, like, bro, like, I got us on this pillar.
Mm.
Here.
I can contribute here.
I can contribute, and let me just give back. Because I feel like it's not an obligation, bro, but it definitely feels like, hey, I can play a role within Māori to give this pillar that we value, and I can do it on a great level.
I think it's that kaitiakitanga part of your DNA, and it is in each and every one of us. And it sounds weird to think of yourself as an ancestor, but you will be someone's ancestor one day. And you just talked about our tipuna. Well, you are somebody's tipuna down the line. And so I reckon it's that thing inside you that is like, okay, I've got something here to contribute to the community, to the iwi hapu, whatever. And it's that it is an obligation that I think is inside of all of us. When you feel like you've got something of value, you have to pass it on, because one day those people are going to look back at you and go, that was my ancestor. And you want to be a good ancestor. And it's all about the decisions that you make today, I think, eh?
Yeah, of course. But it's also like contribution to the ropu, to like if we are a big community, everyone's got to pitch in, like, oh, bro's good at hunting and fishing, you're our gatherer. Bro's good at telling stories. You hold this knowledge and pass it down. Bro's good at entertain us, just,
Yeah,
you know?
Yep.
And yeah, I just feel like it might not be my only value, but it's
Nah.
definitely a strong suit that I have.
Yep.
And I know that we value it. So, and I'm in a position where I can actually give it too. So at the moment, I help the Matatini group Kokotangiwai.
Oh, me.
Yeah, so take them for training and stuff like that, bro. They've been
Cool.
doing awesome for the last kind of 3 months, and obviously,
Have been getting ready to go up north shortly.
yeah, 2 weeks they're on stage, and bro, it's actually been pretty cool to see a lot of the Matatini Rōpū all over the motu just involved in fitness, and a lot of it going back to CrossFit. You know, they might have like 1 or 2 people within the Rōpū attached or doing CrossFit or coaching CrossFit or something like that. So the Rōpū kind of goes into that.
And they sort of influence the rest of them.
Aye.
But it's actually, it's not even about looks on the stage. They're some of the brackets these days, the jumping, the moving, the choreography, like you actually do have to be fit.
Oh, that's the conversation.
Bro.
Yeah.
And it's a whole other level of fitness.
Tika puna as hard as you can, bro. What,
Yeah.
1 minute?
Yep. It's
Gas.
Yeah,
You got to
exactly.
do 29 minutes on stage, you know. It's fitness, bro. It really is. But yeah, for a more ultimate goal, though, you know, so once Matatini kind of bypasses, then the extension goes to the public.
Yeah, everyone else.
Yeah, right, cool. But there's no cost.
Mhm.
There's no cost. Like, what are the barriers to entry for fitness?
Running shoes.
Running shoes, but also like accessibility, affordability, intimidation.
Yep.
You know, like all of those things that I'm trying to strip away.
Yep.
Like, bro, you don't have to pay anything.
How are you going to do that? You just open up your gym.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah. And I will lead the group, the sessions.
That's awesome. I didn't know you did that.
I don't need to tell everyone. Like, I don't want to make it a look at me, look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Mhm.
Just do it, bro. But also, like, do it for the right reasons. Like, who am I to stand there with my phone up like, yo, bro, look at what I'm doing for these fellas.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come check out my business. You can pay me this way because I do good things.
Yeah.
Like, no one knows that I do this because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I do it from here, you know. There's no intention to gain it. That's my contribution to modern. Yeah.
That's cool. I like it. I like it. If we took away the fitness, the business, CrossFit, strip all of that away, what are the types of lessons that you would go back and teach your 16-year-old self again if you were going to do it all over again? What are the things that matter, in your opinion?
Well, again, like I said at the start, confidence.
Yeah.
Have some confidence. But aside from that, and I've done this my whole life anyway. So I mean, I already had it at 16, I believe. You know, I look back and reflect. There's show up.
Yep.
Show up, bro. Effort. I already had those things. But
What are your thoughts around failure?
oh, bro, I fail every day.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I view it as failing. I don't want to get cliche as in like, oh, you don't lose, you learn. But I'm just not high strung on anything, bro. I'm so lucky to be, especially at the age that I'm at, to have stripped or detached a lot of emotional feelings to things. Like I don't really care if something fails.
It's a good place to be, bro.
I don't care. It's alleviating, bro. And like, you know, like, so for example, you to take on the space of podcasting, how long did it take for you to get the confidence to, 1, start it, 2, put yourself in front of the camera, and then edited your first one and we're like, I don't know if I should do that. And it's just like this constant doubt, you know, like for me, I've just removed, like, I don't really give a fuck. That's why I have a media guy, bro. I'll create the content. I'll give him the creative ideas. Like obviously he'll pitch in with like, you know, like he's actually got like the stats and who's watching what and like how we should make it look. But I don't care, bro. Once I say something, like I know what went into it beforehand, so I'm confident what happens after it. And I know who I am as a person. I don't get high strung on it, bro. There's always tomorrow. I'm not going back and trying to have a war with somebody. You know, I've moved on. You know,
it's a dangerous place to be. Like I think when you're there have been times in my life where I've been in that headspace. There's also been times where there's doubt has crept in and do care too much about what other people think. Yeah, and even the podcasting, like you said, yeah, to answer your question, it was ages. I don't know how long, but I talked about it, thought about it. No, I don't want to do it. No one wants to hear it. But at the end of the day, you just go, oh, who cares? Let's just do it. And looking back at the first one, terrible, versus today's one, the one in the 100th episode will be even better than today. It's just growth. It's life.
That's
do it, eh?
That's it. And that's probably what I would say to my 16-year-old self is just start, bro. Just start. Like we wait too much for the perfect plan.
Doesn't exist, eh?
Well, it can, but it just might not come at the right time. And it's the perfect plan might be excessive. You might have only needed 50% completion at start. So often just make a start. Obviously have a pathway. You know, I've got this idea of I don't say something that I don't have the next answer to. You know, and as soon as I get to that moment where I don't have the next thing, I'm sorry, bro, that's out of my depth. I don't understand anything on that. I can't help you there. Or I'm not prepared to speak on something that I don't know anything about. So, you know, with that in mind, it's just that whole, as long as I know I can answer the next thing, based on what I'm saying, cool. And so all of my content that goes out, I know that I'm already a step ahead of that. So if it has to come back and get in the firing line, well, so be it. I've got the next bullet, you know. I'm good to go.
Awesome. No, that's good. It's good insight, bro. No, yeah, just looking at the time, I know you're a busy man, but I just want to say thank you so much for your time, bro. Where can people go to find all of your content, all of your coaching stuff? I know that's not why you're here. You're not here to do a pitch, but I can imagine there'll be a lot of people that will be really keen to follow up and learn a bit more about you, about your kaupapa. Where can they go?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, we have websites and things like that, but I think that if you just want to get like a really good insight into what we do, head to our Instagram page, 64 Training Systems or +64 Fitness, and you'll find everything you need there, and have extensions to me and the next thing as well.
Yeah, and is the gym full? People can still sign up?
Yeah, bro, we'll take you on. We'll take you on and help facilitate the journey. At this point, we just figure it out.
Awesome, bro. Awesome. Well, ngā mihi nui ki a koe hoa. Yeah, just took a lot away from our kōrero today. I love the place that you're at in your life at the moment. It sounds like it's you've successfully managed to block out a lot of the noise and just focus on the things that are important. Yeah, and I love that you have obviously got to a place where you don't seem to care about what people think of you. You're confident. You know who you are. You know what your attributes are. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. And I love that. And the other thing that I really loved about our kōrero today was you gave me a really interesting insight and a really interesting way to frame somebody else's time. And when I'm away and I'm focusing on mahi, or I'm at the gym, or I'm doing anything, it's not just about me, but there's somebody else who's sacrificing. And I love that kōrero. I'm going to take that away and I'm going to really think about that and digest it. So thank you, bro. Really appreciate it. Love your mahi. Keep it up. Any closing kōrero before we wrap it up?
Cool, bro.
Ngā mihi nui.
Pāpā.
Pāpā, brother.